Welcome, all us listeners. This is a podcast has no name, and because we have no name, we can do whatever else we want to do.
I'm Ambush.
I am Castro.
And I'm Morg, and we are a podcast has no name. Wow. And today we're discussing Season 4 of Black Mirror, episodes 1 through 3. So before we start, we want to give a shout-out to our fourth member, our Boo for Life, DJ Aphrodisiac.
Hey.
Insert the reggae horns, because she's on vacation.
Exactly. That's why I can't get no regular old shout-out, because she's somewhere where the sun is shining, and I'm sitting there in this freezing rain. It's a winter advisory shit. Yeah.
Well, just know, just feel free to say whatever you want, Castro, because she's not going to listen to the episode. So,
our little podcast.
Not going to listen to our
podcast.
Or whatever.
And shit.
Or whatever.
Our little podcast or whatever and shit.
There it is.
I know.
See, we love you. We miss you. We clearly need you here. All right. First episode is the USS Callister. Quick summary. A woman
I keep
wakes
wanting to
up.
call it the McAllister. I don't know why, but I'm sorry.
Thank you, Ambush. A woman wakes up on a Star Trek-esque spaceship where the crew praise their all-knowing and fearless captain, who has used DNA scans to simulate real people within his game. Bruh.
This episode was amazing. It was amazing. In pure Black Mirror fashion. Amazing. That's how you start a season of Black Mirror, people.
You did it, Black Mirror people.
You did it. You done it.
All right, so
I think you're supposed to wait for that part.
I'm sorry, I was very excited.
Since you're very enthusiastic, give us the So MJ just gave us the the stock summary. So what about the backs? So give us the backstory of what's going on with our Captain Loser guy.
So our Captain Loser guy, in real life, he's very repressed. He's to himself. He's not very confident, and creates this world where he's just a boss. And then he turned out to be quite. He's an ass. He's a full ass. He's a full asshole. Because there's a difference. You can be an ass. If you're just an ass, then for the most part, the world's having its way with you. If you're an asshole, though, you're purposeful in the way that you're seeking to make people's lives terrible. And that's what he is. Oh, man. It's ridiculous. You go from pity to straight hating this dude. And just loving the way things turn out for him in the end. But the whole premise is amazing. I love how they did the tribute to Shatner with his portrayal on the in the simulator. Just the whole Star Trek tribute. And I'm not a huge Trek fan at all. I'm not a huge Trekkie, especially of the old stuff. But that was awesome. It was great. Yeah.
More?
I don't have anything to add.
Well, let me ask you this. Not being a Star Trek fan in any degree, how did it work for you?
I was a little worried that I was worried I wasn't going to care for the episode, and I kept in the very beginning reminding myself this is Black Mirror, just chill. It's not about Star Trek,
Right.
Right. And I don't have anything against that. I just didn't watch it, and so I don't know anything about it. Not
that there's anything wrong with that. It's a Seinfeld reference. You'll get it later.
Right. Oh, yeah, no, we all got that. Is there anything wrong with that?
No, I'm here. Sorry. So it was fine. I actually ended up really, really enjoying the entire episode. Everyone was acted brilliantly. I absolutely hated the lead guy, or the villain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you're right, it just went straight from, oh man, his life sucks, to, oh, you're just like an awful person. Great. So like whatever made you have this, shitty turn, I don't think it would ever warrant what you got going on at this point.
All right, so for listeners' sake, this is the first episode of the season, and it has the most highly reputable actor that's involved with this season. It's Jesse Plemons. People call him like Matt Damon light or whatever. He reminds people of Matt Damon.
Definitely.
So, yeah. So, all right. So, being the resident Trekkie on the panel here, I am a Trekkie. I watched all the old Star Trek stuff religiously. Didn't realize it was only 3 seasons until I was like an adult. And then I'm old enough where I remember when Star Trek New Generation came on WPIX, Channel 11, when it came back and it was all the hoopla of Star Trek returning and all of that, and Picard and all that.
That was good, too. That was good.
Yeah, so as far as this being a portal into that, it was very intriguing to me because that's very un-Black Mirror-ish. They haven't gone out into space. They haven't done anything too far into the future, whatever. So to see that in the previews and the trailer was very interesting because then it quickly, you get that in the beginning of the episode and then it quickly turns into what it really is. And it's this Misery Loves Company guy who is using tech to handle his social awkwardness. Because if anybody remembers, he is that's his company, so we don't act like it all. Yeah. He's the chief technical officer, but it's his company, and he's just, he kind of bends to everybody else as well. So I think the backstory really worked in that vein of just setting us up. Because, again, when we first start the episode, we're feeling very sorry for him in some capacity, and we realize very quickly that this is something a little more sensitive. So can anybody suss out what do y'all think the overt theme of the episode was?
Don't feel sorry for nerd bulls because they're jerks.
Granted, but like, what do you think? What do you think we would tackle? What do y'all think we were tackling with here? Insecurity.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
okay, that's fair enough.
And the reason I'm not 100% sure is this wasn't like we didn't get enough of the backstory to know what his particular gripe with each person was. So we kind of, there were a couple of little things, but that it wasn't just like one little thing that did it. And I guess for me, I take away that our interactions, we don't really have a great perception of ourselves and how we interact with other people. And, in a moment of you in a conversation with one person and someone else comes up and you're kind of dismissive to them, if that happens all the time and you don't even notice and, like somehow that's ruining that person's day or helping to ruin it. So I take that part away from it, but I don't know what the exact target was. Because if I knew what he was grappling with each individual person a little more, like the boss, or not the boss, but the dude that treated him like he was his boss.
The other partner?
The other partner, excuse me, that made sense to me. In the way of him having this major revenge grudge.
Well, let me.
He treated him directly like shit each day, right? I don't know that the other ones did that.
Let's twist the premise. Let me. Let's just do it. We're talking about Black Mirror, and we relate. That's what's scary about it. Would either one of y'all do this as a coping mechanism? Is this a healthy coping strategy? Because there's a number of things. I do not believe so. That's one.
No, I've seen. I feel like I've seen variations of this in different stories where people will create these different worlds for themselves to exist in. Right. And no, I don't think it's healthy, especially to the degree that he was bringing in people from the outside for the express purpose of exacting revenge on them. He wasn't just creating a different world with just identities to interact with. He was, like, dude, you were collecting. Yeah, like, dude, you were collecting DNA. No, like, no. That's.
He collected the DNA of his partner's child to torture the inside.
What struck me is I can't remember the black girl's. I just call it chewing gum because I know that's the series she's from. When she mentioned about him being starey, and I thought that was just going to be a description, but then they also showed him being starey. So then it got to me where it was like some of this awkwardness or this ostracizing, some of it's justified. Because I was watching it and actually saying like, yo, man, stop staring at her. Like I said it out loud. You know what I'm saying? Because he is staring and shit like that. So, he's just being awkward. They might have a little jest about him. There's always a scapegoat at every office if anybody's worked in an office or whatever. Yeah. And I think he just quietly rebels by, mind you, he is. Let's be real. Let's talk to the audience here. He's not just making copies to play with in his little world, like y'all say. He's actually getting the DNA to get direct copies with the memories and all of that stuff. Like he's replicating these people as is in the game. Right. He can just make them dummies without talking. You see what he can do, but he doesn't want that. He wants them to be in the game as is, and to him to exert dominance over them. So I think, to me, one of the overt themes is power and misappropriation of power, because obviously we know. All right, so let's just roll out the red carpet. So we know about artificial life in terms of like simulated life, like the Sims that we play in real life. A lot of people live their certain whatever vanilla life, mayonnaise life, peanut butter and jelly life, but then they go into this Sims thing and they have a whole new skin and do all. You notice there's I'm not saying it's a symptom, but there's people that make their avatars totally different than how they are in real life. There's some people that make themselves look exactly how they look, and then there's other people. I mean, they change races, all that other stuff. So we're talking about manipulation of power over something you have power over. So it's again, he's not just let me do this game and let me be good at the game. He could do that too, because you see he has a portal into the game. It's not like let me be good at the game and when I go home I'm good at this game. It's no, I'm gonna have my own universe, manipulate the game in my own version, because as we see, we'll get to it, but we notice that his version is very lo-fi as opposed to the upgrade, where everything kind of changes. And I think that was deliberate, too, because he was such the nostalgia of him having that series, you know what I'm saying? And he's creating it, and he wanted it to be that lo-fi or that 70-ish stick. So, I just think one of the overt things is power, simulated or not. And then the other, to me, I think not so much an overt theme, but another existing theme is, because this is Black Mirror, we're talking tech, the civil rights of digital copies. Yeah. So is it okay for you to, like I said, he could have made copies probably without their personalities and memories. You get what I'm saying? I think he made a choice to actually make direct copies of them that would be existing, memory-wise from their own reality, so the torture could be that precise, if you ask me.
Yo, I definitely agree with that. I think there's also something to be said that there's a certain type of coping he was looking for. And it's not like he was going home to, use this alternate reality to even build up some skills and make himself, more confident to go back to work and have real-life interactions and conversations. He created a completely different alternate reality to bring these people into, so the interactions were that different than anything else they could possibly experience whatsoever. So he had to be the dominant personality. All of his skills were the most important skills because he was controlling the entire world. And that was just enough. To feel good within those moments was enough. And then he was totally fine with going back to work and being, made fun of and everything else, because in the back of his brain, when I get off work and go home, I'm going to make you a footstool. Like, dude.
Right.
It's crazy.
It was too much of a direct reaction to me from reality to the fantasy, where it was, as we all understand, it was directly correlated. So if one of them, pissed him off or knocked over his coffee, he's immediately going into the simulation to take it out on the digital copy. So then that brings up the civil rights of digital copies. And there's also he's been a masochist. Because think about it, he's taking it out on a digital copy of these people, but there will be no resonance. Like that digital copy can't communicate to him to the real one. You see what I'm saying? Like I feel like this is some displacement going on. So you're taking it out on a digital copy that has no way of relaying that to the original copy. That hey, you kind of pissed him off subliminally, so he's going to passively aggressively digitally get back.
I mean, just the fact that there's no system in which they can air their grievances without fear of being attacked or turned into a monster. That whole shit's just unfair, B. Like, dude,
like, look, his initial thing to bring Cole over is to do the suffocation, no face thing. So if that's your first step in initiation, because if you have the power to manipulate things in there, right? Let's say you just set yourself up to a holodeck. You watch the shows. You set up a holodeck. You enter them into the holodeck. You kind of coerce them, maybe interview them. I don't know, but you make it less aggressive. Maybe you try to manipulate them. Maybe they learn later, hey, I've been manipulated, and they rebel off that. But to me, I think there's a difference in the morality of tricking somebody in a simulation that they don't know they're in and saying, will you submit or I'll take your whole face off. You know what I mean? I think there's a difference. Yeah, there's a big difference. Oh, so that's another overt theme. There's bullying, cyberbullying, and in its purest form. This is definitely cyberbullying, but again, it's still lacking the connective tissue. That's why I'm saying it's passive aggressive digital that he's going on. All right. All right. So, can somebody speak on the plot and the subplots going on throughout? Like, how y'all feel about the actual beats of the story? Like, what's actually going on? Did anybody believe Cole to be rebellious and capable the way she was?
She annoyed me for a while.
All right, there we go. Speak on it, girl. Speaking on girlfriend.
She annoyed me for a long time. It seemed very, and I'm happy it worked out, but it seemed very naive and very like, come on, guys, if we put our hearts into it, we can do it. Like, it just didn't ever really seem like she was, it didn't seem like she was grasping the weight of it, even though she was. Like, she definitely was, but it seemed like she wasn't as we were going along. So some of her moves just seemed like, do you really think that that's going to work right now? You know, like, what are you doing? She annoyed me for most of the time. I liked her on the outside, though, like super earnest. Oh, man, that guy's such a coder. Wow, hubba, you know, whatever. Like, that was, I liked that. Yeah.
So she definitely annoyed me. There was this air of, okay, I know, and like you said, it turned out to be right, but it was this, you know, I know you guys have tried to get out of here, but listen to my plan. I got the right one. This is going to work. And even when we lost homegirl from chewing gum, it was like, all right, have we had enough of your harebrained schemes? Like, fall back. Like, you really chill. Really chill and rethink this. Someone just got turned into an alien. So maybe you don't have it all together. Maybe you're wrong. But there was just this, I don't know, this level of defiance that I believe was kind of unwarranted only in the way that she hadn't been there long enough and suffered through as much as everyone else for her to be
that was my problem.
So soon. Like, you came in and you're fed up.
I have to play devil's advocate there. I agree with y'all.
Okay.
But for the nature of this story, he had to meet his foil. And it just so happened, ironically enough, which is Black Mirror's strength, irony.
Right.
It's one of his biggest fans that comes to work there. And him being greedy and overzealous, like, he was staring at her that whole couple of days because he was dying for her to leave her coffee or something. Remember, he pounced on that thing.
Right.
So he was actually preying. He was preying on it. So the fact that she turned into be his foil, I think it's his just dessert. She was getting on my nerves a little bit, like not learning how to go with the flow, but maybe they needed that. And also, she was. I was gonna say she was the most technically sound, but they also had the Indian guy in there, and he was another programmer. So, I felt like when she started popping off with ideas, he jumped right in. So yeah, it was a little convenient. More, I agree, and I agree with y'all on that. But I also think for the nature of the story, she's his foil. Like he met his match, being a little too greedy. You know what I'm saying? Because he wanted her in there for let's say this. He wanted her in there for different reasons than the other people he got in there. She didn't do any. I don't think she did anything too wrong to him. He overheard her talking.
He was looking for companionship. Yeah.
And she was denying. She was like, no, not like that. Like, she denied it, but I don't think anybody else did anything of that less of a degree for him to pull them into the game. You know what I'm saying? I think other people actually.
She shouldn't have been pulled into the game for a side conversation she had with a coworker about her having a romantic interest in her boss. Like,
that
if
he
could
shouldn't
step
have been
outside
snooping
of,
on.
Right, like, but if he could step outside of himself for a second, at the end of the day, you're her boss. So is she supposed to tell this random coworker, oh my God, I'm lusting over him, I can't wait for him to ask me out? Like, you're overhearing a conversation in the workplace. And she's trying to be professional. I think the other things were more
tangible. Like the girl that got turned into the first alien monster, like she did something to him. And I think the rest of them is something similar to that. Except maybe the first guy, his partner in real life, maybe he just brought him in as this will be my first guy, let's see how this works. Because I feel like the other people did things more tangible, like maybe somebody spilled coffee on him or got his coffee wrong. Whereas I can't remember her name right now. Where she didn't do anything of that nature, is what I'm saying. Even the conversation, Morgan, I don't think she did anything of the level of even just general annoyance at an office.
So you're saying that there was nothing she could have done. She was getting in the game no matter what.
Because of him lusting.
He was enamored. Yeah, because he was enamored.
As opposed to
so she was going in.
Everybody, as opposed to what he brought everybody else in, maybe an actual grievance. You tripped over me, you stepped on me, you dissed me, or you did something to me. I'm going to bring you in the game and punish you. So what I'm saying is that's the irony that's the Black Mirror-ish of it. Because he was being selfish, because he wanted to bring her in there to be like, like his whoop-de-doo. He didn't want to just to be a part of the crew and have fun in his game. She was going to be the third person he kissed at the end.
He did want to exert his power, though, because he dedefinitely wasn't toning it down for her in the beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he definitely got caught out there slipping in the water, splashing around. But, like, before then.
Right. Like you said, that was him trying to impress her. That's his social awkwardness that is true in his real life playing out in that world.
Right.
I mean, even just the whole I'm listening to a conversation I'm not supposed to be listening to. Like, I felt like she may have really liked him. But like you said, she couldn't admit that.
He messed that up. And
he messed that up. Right.
Being the way he didn't do anything. Yeah, just his awkwardness that led to that awkward conversation with the coworker who revealed some other things to her about him being rapey and starey and creepy. And then that's why I remember I said earlier, but then him turning into somebody that's starey and rapey, that let me down because I'm like, all right, they're talking about you. And then you're turning into that person. But I didn't know how deep that hole went at first.
That's who he was.
Right. Right, so she was kind of dead on. So then you start turning like, hey, they're not being mean to him at the office. This is just the office.
Right.
And he's using this digital medium to be a tyrant because he can't handle the office on his own. Not because the office is mean to him, mean to little Timmy.
Right.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? I don't think there's anything exaggerated at the office that would lead to this coping strategy in the way it is. I think it's something that he created and he perverted. Hence when he comes in there sometimes he uses homeboy as a footstool when real life homeboy chews him out or something like that. You know what I mean? So sorry. I didn't mean to be long-winded, y'all.
No, that was it.
Okay, we're making.
No, that was fine because there was also that dynamic of him watching his other partner make advances towards what's her name, Cole? Is that her name?
Cole, there it is. Her name, yeah, Cole. Yeah.
Making advances, towards her, and that had him he was totally pissed about that.
All right, before we get to the next bullet, which is it's our comparison bullet, but it changes. So listeners, this kind of changes. Sometimes we compare them to other seasons. Sometimes we compare it to similar genres. But I think this time we're going to compare. We're just going to rank the episodes. So, like, where do you think this episode ranks in the 6? That'll be the comparison. But before I ask that, I want to pose this. And again, these reviews, listeners, they're spoiler laden. Like, that's what it is. We hope you watched the episode before. These are not previews. We will be explicit about a preview before a show, but these are definitely reviews. So my question is spoiler-ish. So that's your warning. Bong. Did anybody have a problem with believing the real-life Cole doing those things to keep that digital stuff down? Like, can you see, not even see yourself, but can you see, a compromising position where you're coerced to do something unbeknownst to you from a digital antagonist? Did y'all believe that was believable?
I guess I did because of who she was in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Like she didn't seem to question it at all. It was like, oh shit, this is weird. I'm gonna do it. So it didn't. I don't know. I never thought about it, I guess is what I mean to say. I wasn't struck like, man, she ain't gonna listen to nobody. You know what I mean?
I think it made complete sense because this was her pushing her own buttons. You know what's going to work for you. This is her hacking herself. So she knows. She knows if somebody were to present me with this, that would totally work on me. I think I even remember her saying that. Like, that would totally work on me. Yeah,
right.
She was like, those pictures? Oh yeah, that'll work. Like, I can't have that getting out.
That'll get me.
I totally agree. I just wanted somebody else smarter to say it first. So thank you guys. But I totally agree because she did say like, oh, I know that what lengths I'll go for those pictures not to get anywhere. So let's do that. Okay, so that was cool. So moving on, let's get to the rewatchability. Do you recommend this episode? Let's just go for Black Mirror fans and then fans in general. Do you recommend this episode?
Certainly.
Anybody?
I definitely recommend it. Out of the first 3 that we're reviewing in this episode, this is my favorite episode.
Okay.
I definitely recommend it. Yeah. Even for the Star Trek viewers. I don't want to say non-science fiction viewers because Black Mirror is science fiction. If you're here for science fiction. However they present it.
Even if you don't know it.
Right. Exactly. However they present it, they've cleverly given it. You are watching sci-fi. Sorry, you didn't mean to
don't
be
let it hurt too much.
Yeah. But this is my favorite out of the first 3 episodes, definitely.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Kasha?
What I really liked is being a longtime Black Mirror fan, this being the 3rd series. I think like to call them series over there, 3rd season. They always knock it out the park the first episode. And because of this series from overseas, sometimes they only give us 3 episodes a season. So with us being stateside, we're not used to that. So what I like is they really try to knock it out the park if you watch it in sequential order. So if you watch the first episode, they're going to knock it out the park. And I think this continues that tradition. Again, the previews were so much in the vein of this being a Star Trekian episode. It would look campy. They didn't reveal too much, and then bang, they pull the curtain back, and you're left with this morality tale. So yes, I recommend it. This we'll get to the rankings, but this one is highly ranked as far as episodes this season for me.
Okay. I liked it. I don't think it's my favorite. I'd say it's Maybe it is. I'm not sure. Come back to me. I think I can do this after we talk through the next two. Because honestly, right now, in this very moment, I feel like it's my second, but when I really talk through the one that I think is my first, I think that will be my second.
Well, from the standpoint of rewatchability, would you watch it again? Would you sit down with someone who hasn't watched it? Okay, cool. Excellent.
I'd watch it again. Yeah.
Excellent. That's awesome.
So moving right along, episode 2, Arkangel. Maura, can you give us a synopsis?
Absolutely can, Castro. After nearly losing her daughter, a mother invests in a new technology that allows her to keep track of her child.
All right,
let's break down that technology. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So no, that's good. That's good, Mark. Even moving forward, we could always talk about the tech, because that's always a character in each episode is the tech. Sometimes it's
absolutely.
just a vehicle, but it's definitely something we should mention. All right, so the tech in this episode is, so we have a single mother. I want to point that out. She's a single mom. We don't see a father or a male support in this whole thing. We have a single mom that something tragic, which is tragic, happens to, she loses track of her child at the park. So then she's invited to try this prototypical technology. Everybody remember that. This is a prototype. It's free, right? So don't trust any free tech. And if Afro was here, she would definitely second us on that. And it's this technology that can track your child. That's how it initially starts. So you lose your child.
It's an implant.
And then it's implant. It seems very innocuous how it goes in. But not only does it track your child, but it keeps vital signs, and you can also see through your child's perspective. You can watch through their eyes. So keep in mind all three of those things can occur.
Most terrifying thing. Oh, wait, you're forgetting one major piece of the tech.
Oh, sorry. It also blocks out harmful images, whether that be language or there's a dog in the show that's prominent. There's a dog in the episode that's prominent that's blocked out for most of her life. So that's the other thing. There's what is it called? A filter.
It's a filter, yeah. So it kind of like just blurs the image. It's a full sensor of your child's vision and hearing. So if there's something that raises their heart rate at all, it will go into a filter mode. So it blurs it a little bit, and the sound is no longer threatening. So you're walking around with the proverbial rosy-colored glasses on, right? Like you actually have it, and someone else is controlling that in your life.
To give it a quick, long story short for the listeners, the little girl can't even see blood. Like, she can't even see blood. So just imagine, to me, it's like some ultimate sensory deprivation thing, because you're teaching her non-coping mechanisms, actually. You're teaching your child not to be able to cope with these things. So I wanted to do this considering y'all are the parents on the pod. So we can do both. So the backstory and the overt theme. So I'm going to shoot this one to both of y'all. Y'all can jump in together simultaneously or singularly. You have daughters. Is this a viable technology, or do you think she just responded in ultimate fear to get this thing done?
Hope I'm going in. It's one no. The quick answer is no. For me, this is just a bad parenting episode. That's what it is. She's a horrible parent from the rip. Nothing tragic happened for her to need this implant. She's a bad parent. You're the only person at the park with your own kid. So there's no other kids making noises. She's not interacting with any other kid. It's just your kid's voice, your kid's footsteps. And for whatever reason, someone comes up and you totally forget that you're a parent. Really? No.
And
it's not even like someone swooped in and grabbed the kid. The kid had enough time to find something to distract it and follow it away. It was like breadcrumbs. You're a terrible parent. What should have happened is you don't get your kid back. social services, that's, but then they couldn't do Black Mirror. There may be the gray mirror.
Oh, that's the way
mirror we need.
Yeah, a different mirror.
It's a different mirror.
Child services
mirror. Brown mirror.
Child services mirror. Brown mirror.
Child services mirror. Brown mirror. And you don't get your kid back. Because you're a terrible parent. No, see, because here it is. Oh, you know what? You're a bad parent. Let's reward you with this new technology. That's not how it happens. Child services does not come to your house and say, hey, we found out you're a bad parent. We're going to give you some cutting-edge technology.
Let's
Absolutely
give you an ankle bracelet for your kid.
Yeah, you're a candidate. You meet all of our protocols. No, you take the child away because what happens? She gets this technology and continues to ruin the child's life. She's not supposed to be that girl's mom. She's not. There it is.
Okay, here's the terrifying thing for me.
Yeah.
Is that there's anyone out there that's a parent that thinks it would be okay to implant your child with something so that you can experience the things they're experiencing, so that what?
Yeah.
You can jump in, 15, 20 minutes later when you've gotten in your car and followed the GPS and you bust in the room to your daughter having sex. What the fuck are you doing? You have absolutely no business doing any of that. It's just really gross to me that there's people that act like they didn't live a life before there were children, or they're not living a life while they have them, and that their privacy doesn't mean shit to them. I want you to see me in the shower while I'm in, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want that. I don't want you to have the ability.
The most cringeworthy part of the episode to me was when she looked through her daughter's eyes at that particular point. That to me was the most. Yes, that was the most. That was more than any of the blood. As she does a line of coke.
The fact of the matter is her mom has no business. Like, that is not my business. If my kids are doing that, and I don't mean it like it's not my business, like I don't want to know. I mean, I do not have any business seeing it.
Is this new age snooping for y'all? Like,
it's not remember new age. This is a violation. This is a full-blown cross-the-line violation. This isn't snooping. That is living through somebody's eyeballs and ears. That's fucking disturbing.
Yes.
And
that's current-day helicopter parenting. That's what that is.
Yeah, like you shouldn't even want to do that.
For the listeners, can you break down what helicopter parenting is? Because I actually kind of think I know what it is, but I want to hear a parent say
it's the hover. It's the...
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you got it. Go ahead.
You got it, Mo.
It's the hover parenting where, no. Like, as when they're toddlers, they can't bump into anything and they could never fall down. And then it's, I need every password and I need every this and I need every that, and you can't do anything without me knowing it, which fully fucking backfires. It's not like your kids all of a sudden are open with you so that they can have those. Like, you have to have an actual relationship with your kids for them to be honest. You know what I mean? So the forced helicopter parenting is forcing something without obedience. Like, the kids don't have to really respect the parent and they don't have to really listen or learn a lesson. It's all about, I don't want my kid to get hurt or experience anything that is what I think too much for them to experience at that moment. And it's doing, in this case, everything from afar that you can. I mean, like, if you're ever going to put an implant in anyone, and it's for the purposes of finding them if they're stolen, then that has to be the extent of what that implant is. You don't. Why do you need to know anything else? Why do you need to all of a sudden, that person's a robot now and you're recording their memories? Like, can you imagine all of your most mortifying moments and someone can just like take an iPad and swipe in a circle for a while and watch them all?
Yeah. Or use them to intimidate your boyfriend. That's a lot.
I'm sorry, what?
Use them to intimidate your boyfriend. Because remember, when she brings up on the boyfriend, she shows him footage of them fucking. Like, she had to actually record that part, put it over to another. Because remember, that's a different device. That was the phone.
Completely
so
different fucking device.
She had to actually take some time to slide it to another piece, a cloud, to play it for him. I can't.
Way to go for you for paying attention to all of that.
That's the most cringeworthy part. That to me is the most disgusting part of that episode. Of one, the parent having to go through that accidentally, but then actually being proactive, going through it again and again. Like I'm totally with y'all. I don't have any living children, but I think the backfire of the helicopter parenting is the crisis and the fear in this episode. Is like you're doing all of this stuff to try to prevent all of this from happening to you. Now, mind you, I also wanted to point out to y'all. To, everybody listening, they gave her a precedent from the moment the child is born. They gave that little pause that she wasn't breathing in the beginning, and I was going to ask. I'm curious to know if that kind of happens a little bit, but she was very frightened based off.
Can I give you our exact reaction because it was really interesting to me? So immediately I'm like, oh shit, the baby's not breathing. Oh, like before there's any panic on her face, I'm just like, shit, the baby's not breathing. There's no noise. That's what I said. There's no noise. And then we start to see the panic. And Am says, you just got to clean the gunk out. And then the baby's like totally fine. So
yeah, I totally was like, just chill out, lady.
It was wildly interesting to me that there was zero panic in Am, and it was like, this is fully procedural. There's something to be done before you panic. And I didn't panic, but I felt like something was wrong from the jump.
But then that shows what type of parent she was going to be. That's the type of parent she was going to be from the rip. From the rip.
There's something to
and it's so funny because
there was a panic and an insecureness to her from the beginning.
Right, but you know what's so funny about that? Am, of knowing that is pit and parcel. Give it a second.
Definitely. Let's
clear the airways. I'm not going to worry. Where she was like, oh, my God. And because they were giving her the C-section, y'all, she was separated. Yeah. Y'all notice there's a partition. So you already put her in a paranoia spin.
Well, yeah, because she was like, I can't believe I couldn't push. Like, she was already insecure.
Oh, yes.
She wasn't able to do it the way she thought you're supposed to. And so she was already in a place of insecurity and panic because how come I couldn't do it the way that all these other women do it? Like, which can we all just take a second to speak to? They got to quit acting like there's a normal pregnancy out there. Like, everybody's fucking different. Let these women have whatever pregnancy they're supposed to have. Like, and your delivery is your delivery. Do not compare yourself to someone else or how it went for your mom or whatever. That's a whole load that women put on themselves that, and I don't know that it's on ourselves. I don't mean it like that, but we carry it. So anyway, she was panic-stricken from the beginning and was going to be on edge. So you're right, Castro. They gave us that from the jump in all of her delivery. And then as a toddler, she follows a cat. The moment that she wasn't turning around and looking for her kid while she was talking to the other woman, I was like, she took a couple peeks but didn't really look for her kid. I was like, what could be stopping you right now? If you don't see your kid, you go look for the kid. Because there's no one else there. It's not like she had to sift through other children or coats or colors.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's just your kid. So if you don't see something moving, fucking go look.
Right.
How do you go from this parent to... You're on the swivel. You're looking all the time, constantly. You're calling their name out.
Yeah.
That's the constant thing. I've been to the park where there's light kids, where there's a lot of kids. You know what I'm saying? I've been to the pool. Same difference. Everybody's, where's such. I've seen people lose track of their kid, and their kid is right underneath their armpit.
Yes,
because they're short, so they're like right behind and the kid grabs the knee or something. I'm right here. You know what I mean? Like you just and so your head is really on the swivel that you look over your kid because they're short. You know what I mean? So I've seen those instances. Okay, this is great stuff.
I think it's hilarious that she goes from being, like you said, overly concerned, insecure, panicky, to just being as you're going through birth and you're concerned about the child even breathing, and you're just, you want to be. That's everyone's going through that process. To go from that point to just being like all willy-nilly in the park, taking out, like, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
It didn't hit.
It didn't hit.
Let's move on to the trigger.
The spectrum all the way.
Let's move on to the trigger.
But let me mention this one thing too. This one thing, Castro. Did it not mess with anyone else how cool and okay she was with them just stabbing her kid in the temple? Like, was there just some prep where, like, we're just gonna stab your kid in the temple when it's not paying attention and just
I was only used to it because of the tech they've been using in Black Mirror. So a lot of the temple things, I'm just used to it, them messing around that area. So I don't know if the tech in that time is complex. You see what I'm saying? I'm used to them messing in that area. So the fact that they went there.
I think that she had given up anything. She was so focused on one thing, and that was never losing her kid again. That stuff, she was just kind of led around by her nose. Like, that woman wasn't giving any major detail. It was all so vague. Like, I'm not letting you
where's the social worker? Where's the social worker sitting in the room? I'm not
letting you give them a shot in the arm with all of this vagueness. Like, no, what exactly is the shot for?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So this was like completely. And she was so vague about everything, and it was just like, oh, okay. I guess okay. And then it was so quick. Like, that's what was freaky to me. Not that it was her temple, that there was nothing. Like, that shit just like in, done, no pain. The girl didn't wince, nothing. That terrified me in the way that if that could ever happen, then you're getting implanted and you have no idea.
Right.
Like, the little girl didn't move.
Okay.
She was watching the show and nothing happened. Like, her eyebrows didn't raise. You know what I mean? So it didn't weird me out that the mom didn't have a strong reaction, because the mom was only here for one thing. The mom was for sure, a one-issue voter, and I'm going to look past everything else that Trump did, and I'm going to still vote because that fucking wall is important. And she was like, I'm not going to lose my kid ever again. Right. All of those other features, even when she was explaining the other features, it was kind of like she was still lost in a fog. And she didn't really understand what all of those things did. And the woman's just like, yeah, tap this icon, you can do this, that icon, blah, blah, blah. And she's just like, whoa. Like, she's,
like she jumps into her when she gets to the whole vitals thing. And she says, we should get nutritional supplements.
Right. This is what terrified me, though. You needed to know all of that before there was something implanted in your kid. You should have known that it did all of this. You shouldn't have been surprised by what it can do after it's in her. And that's what put me in a weird spot. Like, okay, all of this shit's cool, I guess, for, the tech standpoint, but all of this is surprising the shit out of you. Whoa, you can see her heart rate. How did you not know that before they put something in your kid?
Dummy, because you're a bad kid. You don't
get to the trigger. Let's get to the trigger, because I'm seeming like I'm the only one playing advocate during this review of this episode. In the sense I'm gonna say why.
That's a triggering word or phrase.
That playing devil's advocate, that is a trigger in itself. That's true.
Yeah.
But let's get to the trigger in the episode. So daughter grows up maladjusted, and the parent realizes that because of an incident with a pencil stabbing herself. So she puts away the monitoring device. She takes the filter off, and she puts it away, puts it in a box, and puts it away. And then the triggering mechanism is, excuse me, I'm sorry. She's not able to deal with things on a normal parental level when her daughter finagles the truth a bit. I'm staying with Jesse, but Jesse tells her parent she's staying with me, and that parent knows that they're with Audrey, and nobody's where they're supposed to be. They're sneaking off with boys. And she can't deal with that in a normal parental way, in the sense that that she starts calling all around. She's not used to not knowing exactly where the child is, where the bleeping dot is. She's not used to that. So these years go by, but then this incident goes off where her daughter sneaks off. For the listeners, her daughter sneaks off, and like I said, that scenario happens. the parents are all told they're with each other at each other's house, but they're not at anybody's house. They're out at the lake with boys. And so the mom there's this montage of the mom going through calling all the parents, which I think is a normal thing. Parents do that when they can't find their kid. But she has never been able to deal with this situation in this normal way before. So I think that's where the panic comes right back in.
Definitely.
What were you going to say,
I was just going to say that and I'm probably wrong, but that car ride of her calling every parent and contact she knows of for her kids and friends and all of that seemed right back to the today modern or today helicopter parent, where I mean I definitely did exactly this. I definitely told my parents I'm staying at this friend's house and I went to a boy's house, right? Mm-hmm. And if my dad couldn't get a hold of me and he went to that friend's house and I wasn't there, he didn't then call every single person. He waited for me to get home and then killed me then. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He never was like, and I called 18 of your friends and they all said you weren't there. You know what I mean? Anyway, It just felt like really extra, and it felt like it was too much. Like, you're now calling people outside of the network of where she said she was going to be now you're just reinforcing that she's lied to you. You're no longer looking for your kid. You know what I mean?
Also,
you already know that she lied. Stop looking for that part. Looking for more of it to reinforce.
Guess what? When you're calling me, the parent that was not on the agenda for the evening at all, like, there was no way that I communicated with you or you communicated with me that your kid was going to be at my house. All you're telling me is you're a bad parent. You don't know where your kid is. You lost your kid. You're calling everyone randomly. You called my wife in the other room. Now you're calling my phone. You know where the kid is? No. Neither of us know where the kid is.
I'm going to throw, as a parent that I believe this will happen to, I'm going to go ahead and throw out that I don't think that makes you necessarily a bad parent looking. I do believe that this particular woman is a bad parent and used terrible tactics.
Yeah.
But
I'm with you.
Our girls are literally going to lie directly to our face. They're going to do it together. It's all of that is about to happen, like, real fucking
tomorrow.
Soon. So
here's
exactly.
My thing.
Tomorrow. So brace yourself for the fact that you can still be a good parent and be lied to, because it's already happening today. You lie about not doing the dishes.
I'm looking for it. What I'm saying is, if the kids tell us, okay, we're going over Lily's house, once we call Lily and they're not there, I'm not calling everybody in the phone book. I'm not. That's what I'm not.
If our kids are dumb enough to use their aunt as a person,
I was just saying anybody. Yeah. If they're just not at the place where they said, if they're just not at the place where they say they're going to be, okay. I'm not doing the whole phone book, because no matter where I call, you've already fucked up. You're already fucked up. You fucked up.
That's my whole
thing. Doesn't matter if I find you. Right. Doesn't matter if I
find
you.
Nick wasn't concerned like someone stole me or I was dead on the highway. He was like, this little motherfucker fucking lied again. So let's just wait and see what time she comes home tonight. And then I die. Then I get killed.
Right.
He was never like, I called and I drove all around and I did all these things. No.
No, the very terrible thing that's going to happen to you is when you come home. There's nothing that's going to happen to you out in the world. It's going to be worse than what you're going to get when you get back. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, your whole life's going to be destroyed. Don't worry
about this particular parent did not feel that way. Let's get back on track. Sorry, listeners. We will reel ourselves in. Sorry, Castro.
All right. Well, no, we're doing good. We're doing great. So let me sum up the episode for the listeners, because then we can get into the rewatchability, because we definitely did plots and over themes. And I thank y'all for being active parents and being able to chime in this way. So eventually what happens is, again, Black Museum is a master. The ultimate irony is you have a 15-year-old who you see doing certain things, that you assume are being influenced by others. She assumes that the boyfriend is doing it when the cocaine idea was her idea. So when she clocks in and sees through her daughter's eyes, it's at the wrong time, which is always going to be at the wrong time when you're doing that type of activity. You're never going to know the true context. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Castro. I hope you remember your point. She certainly didn't rewind the memory to see the beginning of him saying, absolutely not, I don't want you to do this. But go ahead.
Right. Right. And so what ends up happening is you have a 15-year-old who spazzes out, has an emotional outburst, which is bound to happen, fights you, and then runs away. This is not an 18-year-old running away. This is a 15-year-old who's never experienced anything properly except in these spastic 5-year periods or whatever. And now she got into a truck and she's driven off. And this is way worse than losing her at a playground. But it's paralleling that same exact moment when you were sitting there calling her name in the beginning. Now you're standing in the street,
absolutely
calling her name at the end, and she's literally gone, and the machine is broken because she broke the machine on her mother's face.
And the mother is bloody. She certainly has about 17 concussions. She has a brain injury that she will not recover from. Like, she got beaten about the face savagely.
Yes.
All because
with the instrument that she can't use. Yep, the instrument she can't use to find her daughter, who's now truly lost. That's what I thought was the big part of that.
Who's now could have just, gotten into a truck and she's raped and murdered already.
Or not even in the worst, not even to go that negative. More just that she's totally in the unknown. She's in a truck with a trucker driving off the parts unknown, and she's 15.
Her mother is not that abstract, is what I'm getting at. The only thing she's trying to keep her daughter from is harm of whatever her mother thinks harm is. So harm includes being barked at by a dog and definitely being raped and murdered. You know what I mean? Like, that's the worst thing that could happen, and that's what I'm preventing by getting this implant. My daughter will be safe no matter where she is. And it has completely backfired, and that's all her worst fears are coming true right now. Like, she's not thinking about her daughter being lost in the world on her own and being ill-prepared. She's too ill-prepared to know her daughter's ill-prepared. She doesn't know where to even begin looking for her kid. She stands out in the middle of the street and just starts calling her name like she did, the 10 years prior when she was lost the first time. She has grown none. All she has done is had an app. That's it. Like, she has not parented. She has, fucked up her daughter's shit in the way of threatening her boyfriend. Her boyfriend knows the thing's back on. He can't very well say to the daughter, oh, shit, your thing's back on, or text her because your mom's going to see it, or write it down on a note because your mom will see it. There's no way around that, so he just has to be a dick. So now what you have actually done, Mom, is put her in a place where she's wildly fucking confused that the love of her life doesn't even want to talk to her anymore. Do you really not understand the level of pain that is? I've done too much. I'm sorry.
Don't forget the pregnancy termination done underneath her nose.
Whoa!
Don't forget that part.
Oh, my God.
Right?
I actually forgot about that.
I was about to sum it up. I was really about to sum it up, and I totally forgot that part at the
end.
The mother, listeners, she finds out that the daughter is pregnant because this machine can check her vitals. So the machine said, your daughter's pregnant now, probably detected the pregnancy immediately, right? Immediately. And
had to, because it was like narcotic use.
Right. So it tells you narcotic in systems. She's ready to blow up a good time. Can you imagine if my mom had that on me, that machine would blow up. So so then she sneaks in some emergency contraceptive, which is probably highly advanced at this point in our future, into her morning shakes. Another theme that you watch through an episode, she gives her daughter shakes every morning and terminates the pregnancy her daughter didn't know about at 15, and that's what sets her daughter off. And
I just want to make one clarification. The Plan B pill that she used in the show is exactly how it works today. So
it wasn't even.
I don't know about the crushing up. You know what I mean? But the symptom of then throwing up or feeling crampy or any of that, which is what happened. Like, she threw up. She didn't know why, and the nurse was like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry for your loss." Like, whoa, wait a minute, what? But yeah, like, all of that's what happens today. Like, that's exactly what would happen to someone today if you slipped them and they were actually pregnant and it did terminate a pregnancy. You know what I mean? Like, that's what would happen now.
Okay. So
someone would be nauseous or all of a sudden bleeding.
Because I'm pretty sure there's a parent that snuck some contraceptive into their daughter, their young daughter's food, whatever. This is probably right out of modern day article. Okay. So, rewatchability. Would you recommend this episode to? I want to twist it up a little bit. Would you recommend this episode to people that haven't seen Black Mirror? Would you say, hey,
no,
you should watch this one?
Oh,
no.
Okay, that's a no thing.
I wouldn't not as a way to pull them into the series. I wouldn't.
Let's not.
Okay,
but not take it
that's
as
not
your
what I
first
was going
episode.
for.
Yeah, not say it as it's just be the first episode you should watch, because I think because I don't think people should watch National Anthem first at all. I would never tell anybody to watch that episode with the pig fucking first. I would take them. Maybe the one with the rating system, because that's a little futuristic and it's a little comedic.
But also
I would
seems
send
like
them to
tomorrow.
That one.
Yes.
Nosedive, yes. Nosedive. I would send them to see Nosedive. But yes. Okay. More.
This one I would recommend to someone who hasn't seen Black Mirror. It wasn't my understanding about first, but I would. I recommend this for parents, period. If you're thinking about it, if you want to be one, if you've pined all your life and it hasn't happened for you yet, or if you're on the fence. I think everybody that thinks they want to be a parent should watch this. And I say the same thing for the movie 13. Be prepared. Every single parent or person that wants to be needs to watch the movie 13. And then, depending on the relationship you have with your child, like Lily and I watched 13 with Sydney, to be like, there's nothing you can do that we won't know about. You know, like, nobody's stupid around here. So, anyway, I think this is a great episode for a very particular reason. And I think that as technology advances and we love the benefits of that, we see how quickly you can get carried away. And I think that, like I said, if you're going to go as far as implanting your child with something to know where they are at all times, that needs to stop at that, and it can't carry on into their vitals and, being able to see through them and hear through them and all of that and record their memories. Like, that's out of this world, and it's an invasion that is it's a full-blown line step.
Throw the whole parent away. Throw the whole
parent away.
Don't forget to mention that in the story, the technology was banned in Europe by the time homegirl got older, and it was about to be banned in the U.S. So they realized that this was not. Yep.
But it was years ago. She knew that for years. It had already happened. It had been banned. All the shit had happened, and if they could pull it out of people's heads, they would, but they can't. So what she was supposed to do was years ago throw that iPad or the tablet.
And also, you didn't notice that there wasn't a lot of kids with this thing. I think she might have been the only kid with it, or one of maybe 10. If you notice, there wasn't a bunch of kids being ostracized for being implantees.
No, you know and I will say that was the one part that I respected from the whole situation, was that the girl knew that the mom had access to all of that. Now, I don't, it changes the way that person lived, but she wasn't being spied on in the way that she had no clue that there was an implant in her head and that her mom had access to that. She knew that was and her mom, I don't know if that was a conversation that they had or if she was really just coming in and blowing up at all these different moments, because it seemed like that was absolutely happening. Because the first interaction we see when I am assuming she's in like middle school or whatever, and she's like, the dudes are all like, oh, there's the narc. And she's like, her friend's sticking up for her, and it's like, she's not a narc. That's her mom. She doesn't tell on anybody. Like, can you fucking imagine that something happens and you just happen to be there and your mom shows up and some other kid gets suspended? Like, what a nightmare.
Right. You're an informant. You're an unwilling informant.
An unwilling informant. Yes, a non-participant. That's fuck. So, yeah, I like that she actually knew. And that showed a major level of trust, I think, and naivete on both of their parts, that the mom could just put that shit in the box and no one would ever look at it again. I think I would continue to live my life as the girl that's getting, spied on. I'd live it like she's going to peek in at any time because I wouldn't trust that that's too fucking tempting. You can see what I'm doing? Nah. I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't trust that anyone would have the ability to have that much power and then not use it. So, as the kid, you've ruined her life in multiple ways.
So,
because you're a bad parent.
Let me switch it a bit. Well, let me switch it a bit. Is this was this episode Black Mirror-ish enough for y'all? Would you recommend it? Not as your first.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
This was the Black Mirror experience. Certainly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep it rolling. Let's get to the next episode called White Privilege. Crocodile.
Oh my God, I was on mute. I choked. I couldn't find the mute button.
God.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yo, let me tell y'all,
wow.
This whole fucking episode is about privilege. No ifs, ands, or buts. I won't say it's specifically white privilege, but this episode is all about privilege. All right, the episode's called Crocodile. And at first I was really thrown, like, why is it called Crocodile? Even though I watched it. And then I get to the end, and I'm like, oh, what my mom always say? Don't nobody want to see you in them damn crocodile tears. There it is. And that is this episode. We have a lovely pro or antagonist, whatever you want to call her, Crocodile. Morris, would you happen to give us a synopsis, please?
A woman's past comes back to haunt her while an insurance adjuster questions people about an accident with a memory machine called the Recaller.
All right, so we'll call it. All right, so Am, let's take a dive on what's the tech in this episode.
So the tech is some more crap that they jam into your temple. Cause that's what they love to do in Black
No,
Mirror.
they place it on your. It adheres to the.
If there is a pin, it goes in. There's a little stabby because she uses an alcohol prep pad first. She prepares it. She wipes the temple and then jabs some more crap in your forehead. So they're able to view your memories. They use prompts, smells, sounds to help you regain the memory. It also appears as though there is some level of manipulation based on how you remember and what you choose to remember.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. But there's a moment in the show that the guy remembers the coat being one color, and then he's reminded what it is, and you can watch the memory change right before their eyes. I think, before we even get into it, that should have been explored more. I think that the misperception of the memory and the way it can be manipulated, I thought that should have been investigated more, but we'll get into that as we dive in.
Especially since they're watching it be manipulated and they take it as pure fact.
Yes. Okay, so backstory, the specific incident that happens that is the exact backstory of this episode. How was that for y'all? Anybody can jump in.
That was dope. It was I loved it. It was jarring. So much so that when it happened, I didn't believe what I was seeing. Boom, they hit the person, and I was like, man, that was a really big bird. What did they hit? Because I've encountered not paying attention and hitting a big bird on the way to work one morning. It was huge, and I was like, oh my God. So I just got thrown back to that moment, and Morgan immediately is like, that was a person. Like, oh.
My level of sensitivity needs to heighten right now. I need to jump up.
Yes. Oh, God. You hit a whole person now. that's jumping headfirst into the episode. We're going to give you something crazy from the rip. So that's an excellent backstory, in my opinion.
Well, so you're forgetting one part that I thought was really important about the backstory is that they were drunk as fuck and high as fuck. Like, they've been going, they've been going all night. And now they're in the middle of nowhere, and old girl's smoking a joint, and he's smoking a cigarette, and, like, they're still partying. How terrifying.
Right, so the stuff in their system is definitely, because what I thought immediately was kind of funny was once they were partying more, and they're going on a maybe 22-hour binge at this point. When he hits that person and they start having to come up with solutions, they sober up real quick. And I've been in situations not that harrowing, not that life-threatening, but you do sober up real quick. Like that party done, as we like to call it, party done. And he shot right up. No, we can't do that. He started talking real fast. Right?
Oh, yeah. He hit him real quick. This is all felonies, boo. Every single one of these is a felony.
Y'all are all my good friends, so I know y'all answer to this because we do know, especially being people of color, you don't leave no scene of no accident, because that's making it all the way worse. Now,
oh my God,
that's what I'm saying. This episode is white privilege because white people think they can get away with hitting people and killing them. And I can bring up Matthew Broderick, and I can bring up Chappaquiddick, the Kennedy. Like, there's many incidents in history where white folks think they can hit you with their car. They think they can hit you with their car and kill or injure you or maim you, and they can get away with it by leaving. So,
how different is this from the affluenza team? Remember that? He killed 4 people. He killed 4 people in that accident. And
damn, I forgot. But I didn't think about it.
It's different in the sense that happened all at once. Those deaths happen instantly as opposed to methodically going from one person to one person to one person.
Mm-hmm. But just speaking to the overarching theme of privilege, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
and actually having a viable defense of the defense is viable of I don't really know anything about this. I've been sheltered my life, so I don't know about driving unceremoniously. I don't know about hitting and killing people. It was mainly the driving part that led them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think they were excusing the murders or, the accident, but they were saying, like, he's totally out of his depth with stealing a car and driving off and not knowing how to drive. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't black men can do that. That's all.
But then remember, part 2 to that is he got probation, but then flees. Remember that?
He did?
He fled. He fled to South. He fled to South America with his mom. He fled to South America with his mom.
I didn't know he fled.
Oh, no, I'd like to say that another way. His mom took him to South America to hide him from the U.S. government.
Right.
But why, when he got such a favorable...
Because he didn't flee and take his mama with him. She was like, we about to go.
We out of here.
But why did they leave when they got a favorable decision? Remember, he just
because even that wasn't good enough. Even that was no.
That wasn't promised freedom.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a record. I'd rather buy you a new life somewhere else. Let's get you a new name and a new birth certificate and a new passport and all the shit. I'd rather do that than you have to be that guy who goes to jail and has a record. Right.
Wow. I know we wouldn't do it, but did the premise work for y'all in terms of the drugs in the system, the heightened panic, to them having to think quickly and dump his body? And I know what you did last summer. So,
I don't think the old boy needed. I don't think he needed drugs in his system to pull off.
Okay.
And I don't think I'll leave her alone. I don't think he needed anything. This was about to not be a part of his reality. And if he would have been able to get in his car and her get back in peacefully and they just drive off, he would have left that person directly right there. Like, it became we got to get rid of all of the evidence because we're really going to not deal with this. That immediate, this can't be my life, is a feeling that every single person experiences when something crazy happens. It's that next step of how do I conceal it that isn't a part of every single person's life.
That determines how human you are.
Exactly.
But that's where I'm saying the privilege comes in, that you think you can get away with something like that.
We're just agreeing. I'm just absolutely agreeing. That's a privilege that I don't think people that none of us know. We don't know. It's not even a thought that, number one, I'm going to fully get away with this and that I will be scot-free and fuck guilt. Like, if you're already getting yourself to the point where I've killed someone, I've buried the body, or I put it in, he's putting rocks in a fucking sleeping bag. This dude's not going to, like, the guilt of it doesn't outweigh any of the other shit, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So
like they made it where you're not going to find
he was determined to not deal with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he was determined to not go to jail, for sure, and wasn't going to, his life couldn't change. Huh?
For our non-melanated listeners, let me explain real quick what Castro was referring to as far as the privilege here and how it never enters our mind that we could get away with doing something like that. This is how it plays out. In our mind, if we leave the scene of a crime, all we did was open up the docket for them to stack any and every other possibility that could happen.
It turns into years. Turns into +5 years.
Hit and run.
Leave the scene of the crime.
That hit and run
+5
+6.
Yep.
Yeah, that hit and run turns into possession of a firearm. Where'd the firearm come from? I don't know. It's from another case. We found it on this scene. Now you're a serial killer.
Right.
What?
Yes. Right.
Where'd the brick of coke come from? This is.
We think in terms of years in incarceration. We do. And even those that didn't grow up in hard neighborhoods or whatever, we think of years of incarceration. And so we know when you hit somebody and you leave the scene, that's +2, 3, 4, 5 years added on to whatever the hell happened. Because when
and
you
then you're going to give me some sort of you're going to give me some sort of evading charge and some sort of like you're stacking it all.
You hit that on the head. We think in years. So if you're driving with a firearm, it's not like, well, I just need protection. No, that's 5. You know that's 5, right?
Bang. I grew up that way. That's 5. It was on billboards. It was on billboards. A gun equals 5 years in prison. There wasn't even no trial.
There's no discussion, right? There's no discussion.
There wasn't no trial. There wasn't no, this is why I had it and I needed this.
What are the circumstances?
It was 5. Bang. Right there. You got 5. No, it hit the gavel. I remember that thing was cold-blooded. And it was based off Rockefeller laws. We ain't gonna go too political. But
and we would actually look at each other like, but you knew that. Why would you even?
Right. This is already a given.
Why'd you go there with that?
Thank you.
Right.
Why you ain't tell me that's in the car? This is a conversation us people of color have with each other.
Right.
Why you didn't tell me that this was in the car? Because we know what this is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Easy.
Yeah.
Early. You want to say that's a Philly term, y'all listeners. Early.
There's no, I'm sorry, officer. And here's the crazy part, because had they really played the privilege out, that was possibly vehicular manslaughter. Possibly for them. They really could have got away with that if they called the cops and just been a complete accident. It could have just been
I say yay and nay. I say yay and nay because they would have checked for stuff in his system. So he did have a point with that. But circumstances, you didn't see him. They came out of nowhere. There was nobody on the road. For these many miles. You could say all that. That's a stretch of road.
Because the only other witness was in the car with him. So she could. There's a law. We didn't see this person.
There's a law about jumping out in front of a car. If a guy's on a curb and you're driving and they jump out in front of the car and you don't leave the scene, you're not liable for murder or even manslaughter at that point. They'll see it as just an accident because that person gave you no shorts. There was no reaction time. You didn't have a time to probably swerve or do whatever because they jump right in front of your field of vision. So
again, listeners, this is what it means to be black in America. We have to be legal experts. We have to know. We have to know these things. This isn't just Castro spewing it. Yeah, we got to know. Because anything can happen.
Got to know. Because we know when it comes down to it, it's going down.
Right.
Jesus Christ. All right. So, y'all, we are just scraping into this episode, WP. Crocodile.
Crocodile.
So, a.k.a. WP. And, all right, so let's go to the overt theme. So let's give more of the episode. So what ends up happening is, so this incident happens in the past. They cover up this murder, right? And they both go on to live their lives. But then later on, homeboy...
Would you call it a murder?
What? Did I call it a murder?
No, would you call it a murder?
You?
Oh, once you put that first rock in that sleeping bag, it's a murder.
Okay, there we go. Because my thought was, and I'm dead serious, as I asked that question, because I'm like, oh, well, that's really like they covered up a death. But as soon as they committed to covering it up, then it's murder. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Castro.
There's also, because it was so remote, there's definitely, I mean, you know, forensics being what it is, you really probably wouldn't have gone away with it, but you could have just left that motherfucker there, and they would just have to pick up the pieces. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but, all right, so whenever
ditch the car. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, how about that? Or examine homeboy, take off all his clothes to get rid of evidence of your particular car hitting him, and they'll just find the body with bruised up and bloody. Hey, anyway, I'm not a criminal mastermind. What the fuck do I know? I'm a black guy that knows that if you want to I'm a black guy that knows if you want to commit a crime and you're a person of color, you don't fucking tell nobody. You just do it and it gets done. That's the only thing. When you start fucking telling people and having accomplices, you might as well take your ass right down to the fucking
just walk on down.
Just walk in on some on some 7 detectives. Yeah. You might as well walk in on some 7 shit like John Doe.
Fall to your knees.
Detective. All right. So they go to present day. They go on their separate ways, right? And they both, you know, they have their own lives. Homeboy comes back into the scene and it's feeling supreme guilt because now he is a recovering
addict.
He goes to addict. He's a recovering addict. Thank you. He goes to AA. He's a recovering addict, and as part of his steps, he needs some confession, and this thing has been eating away at him. And at this point in the story, what is it, 15 years ago, right?
Yes.
It's 15.
Yeah.
It's 15 years. And homegirl,
she's a successful something.
Architect. She's an architect. And she's not having it. She really can't wrap her brain around him sending an anonymous note, which I was on the fence with, y'all. I was on the fence with letting him send it. I was on the fence with letting him send it, but I wouldn't have had the reaction she had. That's what I'm saying.
That's to say, yes. Yeah.
You know, I don't know what the whole point of the letter would be. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna make it anonymous, because you're not gonna. It's not like you're Breaking Bad giving them coordinates to the body for the homegirl to have closure. Like they're never gonna find that body. You know, God knows where it is, or the bike.
Ever.
So the letter will give closure, but I can't see them. You know what I'm saying? So all right, break this down for y'all. Let's dive into this point. What do y'all think about the letter he proposed to write?
I thought it was selfish.
Okay.
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 Yeah, that's very.
I think that you know, it's one thing for sure to, you know, need to make amends. It's and take responsibility for something. But he wasn't there to take responsibility. He wanted all of the benefits and none of the accountability. And I think that that's bullshit and selfish. So you don't get to say, I now feel bad for this man's wife and kid or whoever could have been a part of his life and that they've been mourning him for this long or waiting for him to come back or whatever the situation. You can't say you feel bad for that, but you're not willing to say, I was the person that did it.
Right.
I
wanted you to make that point. This was his idea. To hide this thing was his idea.
It's his idea to hide it, and in that particular mind state or however you want to, you know, couch it, it was his idea. He did it, and then he wants to anonymously say this person was killed. Okay, bye.
Right.
Right.
Also, let's just mention that to stack onto the selfish cake, you show up to homegirl and you say, hey, this is what I want to do. but I'm not really asking your permission. I've made up my mind.
Right.
You know what? Keep that shit to
No,
yourself.
I'm definitely doing
Keep
this
that
no matter
shit to
what.
yourself. Don't even. Why are you telling me? What are we having this conversation for?
Right.
Do that on your own. Keep me, because you already said you're going to keep me out of the story. Don't say nothing to me about nothing.
All right.
Well, why
would you on that? If that was his plan, then why go visit her to dangle that
because
cat?
He wanted again with the selfishness. He wanted her to be okay with it.
Validation. He wanted validation
on the back.
He wanted validation.
Right.
He wanted her to agree. He was going to do it whether she was okay with it or not. He was going to make. He had made the decision. This wasn't a team decision. It wasn't a team decision in the first place. You know what I mean? He ran it like, I fucked up in the beginning and I'm going to fix it now. But you're really not. You're gonna put this in a place where we get caught for something you decided that was going to be your, but you're not taking it. So
this is not your own thing. I'm involved with
this. This isn't just your life. Exactly. And like you said, if you're going to fully leave me the fuck out of it, then you don't even need to be here. Yeah. Then I don't need to know, because you would be taking responsibility for it.
Responsibility. So, right.
Also, I think that she's way more successful at this point in their lives than he is. I also want to put that out there for the listeners so they understand that she had because she was saying, I have a lot to lose. She had a lot more to lose than he did. I'm not being insensitive to him, but, he looked
No, but in that moment, the success is going to be measured different ways. If he, is in recovery and he's making strides in that way, he doesn't even know to look at her success. But I do take the point that she was farther along in life probably than, either one of them saw happening for themselves in that moment. So for someone to come back and you're majorly successful and you just finished, speaking for people that absolutely come and pay to see you talk, like to have someone come and tell you, I fucked your life up a while ago and I don't know what you've been dealing with it, but I'm about to make this decision and do this. I mean, that dude, I'm going to fuck it up some more, or I could potentially fuck it up some more, or if you've been able to live your life without thinking about this, which is impossible, but if you have been, then I'm going to bring it right the fuck back up. Like, here we are. And there is no closure for her on that end, and there's no actual closure for him because he's not, being accountable. He just wants what he thinks is right and allows him to escape.
Mm-hmm. Terrible. So this next part that happens, listeners, I don't think this is realistic to me at any point. This is where the story kind of jumps the shark a little bit, but it definitely gets us started rolling down to what WP gets involved with as the episode goes on. So she's definitely against this, and she grabs him and she slams him to the ground and she kills him in a fit of I think extreme fight or flight survival. Yeah, because he's kind of like surprised, like even the whole time she's choking him, he's looking like surprised, like I can't believe you're like choking me, or whatever. And she's an architect, so she has access to buildings and sites, and she goes and disposes of the body. This sets forth a whole snowball of murder and white for the rest of this episode, where she fixes her problems. You want to know how she fixes her problems, listeners? She murders. Murder. Okay, so she murders. She murders and murders. So Bobby murder. Issue, she murders. Okay, this is how she deals with everything. But what she's on an inevitable course towards is the other character in this show is the memory recall homegirl, and she's investigating an insurance claim. And she does that by taking this machine that Am mentioned earlier, and she goes up and looks through people's memories, and it's like an intersecting who is the visual witness, and she goes and visits them. So the guy got hit down on the street, and when our main character murders
by a driverless car,
former boyfriend, driverless car, right? And when our homegirl murders somebody upstairs, the whole street, anybody that's on the street is suspect to witnessing this insurance claim of this car accident. But simultaneously, she's upstairs murdering her best friend upstairs with her window open. Okay, murdering with her window open. Because now, this is something that white folks I don't understand. I want to implore y'all, anybody that's listening, please make a comment because my mom got me with this. My mom always says you don't leave your curtains open because all you're doing is giving a robber a menu. The people are looking into your crib, and they're counting everything that you have, and they're looking at
how many
access and
TVs.
entry points. How can I get this TV outside of this door and out to the fence? Please, I implore you, all my white listeners, I'm not discrediting people of color, but I'm really talking because I walk down some really nice neighborhoods in South Philly, and I take a gander. Close your blinds. Close your windows, especially if you're a murderer, okay?
Yeah. You have some murderation on your menu.
Because she's looking out the open window after she kills her former lover, she's witness to this accident, and she doesn't know eventually the insurance memory specialist is going to make her way to her. Recall specialist is going to make her way to her and have to take a little gander at her memory. Now, I want everybody to know that.
Real quick, Castro. How cool is that little pizza delivery thing?
I don't know, Am.
The driverless pizza delivery?
Because
that probably makes the pizza inside of it. Huh?
But the fact that they show somebody getting hit by it makes me go, You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not so sure about this driverless.
It didn't deliver the pizza and roll off.
Okay, listeners.
And mind y'all, if y'all look it up, if y'all look it up, and this is for our listeners too, Pizza Hut has an exact machine like that coming out. So look it up.
That's what I'm talking about.
Coming out soon. A driverless delivery thing. It's coming soon.
Okay.
Listeners,
like
you know me in food. So automatically, when guys getting this pizza out, I'm like, one, that looks really hot. What are the toppings? And then I started thinking, this machine is big enough that you can place the orders. It probably cooks the pizza. It probably manufactures the pizza within the machine.
Castro?
No, I will say this. I know, Morgan, I'll pray for you. I will say that it looked more like a housing. It looked more like a housing unit, and they travel with the pizzas than like a whole pizza manufacturer. I understand, and that's
it was very clearly. It was very clearly a vending machine situation, and Am was like, "I'm pretty sure they make the pizzas in there."
So, Am, is this like you hope that you hear the pizza music of the pizza truck coming around the block? Not the ice cream man.
No.
The pizza man. Is that what you're waiting for? To hear that music for you to run down and get a pepperoni white. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that.
What
I'm saying is it's more economical. I thought about the whole thing from the standpoint of the employer. It's more economical. If all we got to do is load this thing up with the separate cheeses, the toppings, the flour, the water, have a reservoir for that, and then people are just ordering the stuff on their phone, bam, by the time it takes to make the pizza and get to its destination, bam, pizza's hot out the oven.
And we're not talking about
any, as opposed to
so this thing is rolling around in the street, and you're not worried about any types of contamination.
No, this is for sure the equivalent of like the dirtiest Little Caesars pizza. Like you don't even want this pizza, and he's
this
so
thing is
hyped
making sharp turns, and you're gonna.
Yes.
You remember them pictures of Little Caesars pizza of the pizza mangled up in one corner, even though it's a gigantic 4-square box.
That's
the pizza mangled up in the corner, looking like a victim of bullying. It's crouched up in the corner. How's my pizza like this? It's supposed to be round.
Hold on, and this is the funny thing. Am knows to expect that. It is literally it's a ball of dough in the corner of the box, right? And he knows to expect that. He knows that it looks like there's a shoe print. And he's still going to be like, oh, well, that's unbelievable. I mean, my pizza should just be a pizza. I don't understand why there's any – I mean, you're just coming right out of the slot. I guess if the velocity is going to do – like, he would do all of that. But the expectation is that this pizza is going to be the best tasting pizza of his life, even though he knows it's coming out of a vending machine on wheels.
Thank you, Morg.
Because hashtag technology.
One final point, if I may. I'm just entering a little bit of logistics into this. If all this thing does is deliver. This thing had like 30 slots on one side.
All right,
I
got it. No, I got to interject.
You're missing.
We're way
you're
off,
missing
y'all.
this part.
We didn't even get into the episode. We're way off. We can't.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I can't. I'm sorry.
If there's
Someone has
food,
to do it.
I know.
Like if there's food,
I know.
you guys got to give me a 2-3 minute allowance.
We don't even know the homegirl character. We don't even know the homegirl caller. We haven't even talked about it. Let's stop.
You guys are doing the right thing.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, eventually they're gonna, and I wanted to mention the irony of the investigator. She goes down to the street where the incident happens a day or so later, and there's a camera on the corner, and it just happens to be vandalized. And if that camera didn't have that paint on it, she wouldn't have investigated everybody else. She would have just pulled up the footage and bang, bang. But she's looking for justification. She works for an insurance company, so she needs some justification. So what she does is she goes and witnesses she goes and investigates different witnesses to get some type of succinct idea of who and what and when. So the first couple of weeks she goes through, it shows you it's interesting how the machine works. But they didn't actually see the accident. They just turned and saw him laying on the ground afterwards. So she has to keep on going. Right, she has to keep on going. She runs into some interesting things. She sees a dentist across the street who is admiring a Nubian man while he's working on somebody in a dentist chair.
Naked.
So he doesn't actually. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he
doesn't.
I thought he was white.
Yeah, the guy was white, but he was looking at a black dude, and that's why he was so jittery.
The dude that he was looking at was white. I missed that.
Oh no, that was a piece of Nubian cake, and he was all about it.
Oh God,
I missed it. I missed it.
that was a lean slice of Nubian cake, and he was all about it.
Oh God.
So that's why he was nervous. And what ends up happening is he notices across the street that our main girl was looking out her window after she is murdered. Looking
like a murderous lunatic.
Right. After she committed a murder, she's looking out the window. Still hasn't closed her damn blinds. Go rewind back, y'all, about my blind point. God damn it.
Privilege.
Thank you.
No,
WP.
and wasn't it that moment, like something happened, was it the flash or she saw someone looking at something that she was like, oh shit, my curtain.
Right.
So he took a picture.
Yeah,
the dentist guy took a picture, and the flash, she saw the flash, and that's when she was thinking to close the curtain. But she did walk to the window to be privy. If she wasn't in the window, then the memory recall girl is not going to go looking for her. Because not only that, they have facial recognition software where they find the picture and they just run it and they find out where you at, bang, bang, bang. No, but you can't even you're not even an anonymous witness. They know exactly where you at, and then you're obligated, that's another part of this story, to testify or the law can get involved. And that's she said that at her door.
So not that you have to you have to talk to her. It's against the law to see something and then not say something, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It is basically what she said. And I felt like, and by see something, say something, I don't mean go tell the police. I mean, if an insurance adjuster comes and asks you about it, you can't say, I don't know nothing. That's why they have these memory recallers.
The machine.
However, I got to say, when she gave that to her at her door, I thought she was lying. I didn't even believe that. I thought that was a tactic. I totally thought that was
think about it, Black Mirror, more, and this could be that little underlining of their society. Because this is my question to y'all. So if I was living around then, I would act like I grew up in Brooklyn, y'all. So if I was living around then, I would just keep my head down at a 45-degree angle and not look at anything. So if an insurance adjuster had to come and talk to me, I could say, like, I didn't really see anything. And when they look, I didn't see anything. So that's how I would exist. How you know what I'm saying? Because if you're, like you're saying, Morgan, if you're a mandated reporter, even against your will because they have these machines, and mind you, it's not like everybody had one of these portable machines. These are very specific. We see the insurance companies have them, and then the cops have one at the end.
And the police have them.
Right.
Yep.
And the cops. So the fact that they can knock on your door innocuously, she's a stranger, and ask you to participate in this investigation, you have to kind of go around with either just being willing or making yourself, displacing yourself from being a participant. And stabbing out your eyes.
Yeah, because she was like, I have to call the police for all the people that don't do it the way they're supposed to.
Right, and so, I think she also implied, because she was saying to the dentist guy, "Don't worry, I've seen some things." But she also mentioned that if she sees a crime, she has to say something. Did she say that earlier to one?
She did
one
say.
person?
She didn't say a crime, but she did say if you're going to hurt yourself or someone else. Like, if she sees that happened, then she has to say something much like any doctor or psychologist, right?
Yeah, right. She said,
but she also said there is discretion. I'm only looking for things related to the accident. I don't want to know anything about the boy that you were looking at or the man you're looking at in the window. That part doesn't matter. To me, it's not a part of the story, right? So she's saying I have discretion, and she gets the woman to talk to her a little bit with that. Right. She's like, I don't care about anything that isn't. But that's a full-blown fucking lie.
That's a full lie. Because if that was the case, all right. So let's get the listeners caught up. So she eventually makes her way to the girl who's a killer and investigates her memories. And what I'm saying is when she saw, and I have another good point, and I'm a towel is, when she saw the murders on the screen, if she was experienced at seeing gruesome things, she would have played a stone face and just been like, okay.
Right.
And just kept asking the questions and just going on, and then walked out and then contacted authorities. She had a very visceral reaction. So here's the other thing.
Absolutely.
Remember, homegirl was trying to prep herself by saying the memory she wanted to express?
Yeah.
It was no way it wasn't going to happen that way, because not just that, because I think you can prep yourself for that machine, because we saw with the doctor changing the color of the coat. But the memories were all tied to each other because she's a damn murderer. So you see what I'm saying? So she asked about that night.
The point is you can't run from that shit, right?
Well, no, I totally agree with that, but I'm saying that memory is tied, like think of those memories tied with little threads in between each. Mm-hmm. So when you go and ask her about the night of the pizza accident, that triggers when she killed her former lover, and that triggers back when they killed homeboy and hid the thing.
Because that's the reason she killed him.
Right. There was never a way to look in that machine and only see the night of the pizza accident.
Exactly.
There was no way to ask her that. Yeah.
I just want to piggyback on what you were saying is that, like with the dentist, you can see that memories can be manipulated. Mm-hmm. That wasn't like he wasn't changing his story, and he wasn't, you know what I mean? Like that was true manipulation of a memory. I remember a green coat, it was yellow. Oh, okay, yeah, I kind of remember it being bright. And then it went to yellow. That's different than trying to feed yourself, I just remember this one thing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
I totally agree.
Yeah, those are separate. And what she tried to do was fully commit, like, okay, I'm going to, and it just speaks to the overarching tone of, I do everything the right way except for these couple of things, and I just can't be caught doing those couple of things. Those couple of things are murder, so you're supposed to get caught. You're not supposed to be able to get away with killing all of these people. So I think I think it's different than the dentist. I think you have to differentiate those things. Like it's not a manipulation of memory when you're trying to truly force a separate narrative. She's trying to go a completely different route.
I wasn't saying she was going to be successful with it either. I was just trying to point out that those memories were tethered together. So even though she's prepping herself to just remember that one thing, that was never going to happen. So she ends up killing the memory investigator, but not before she ties her up to the machine and finds out that she told her husband about it. So she goes and kills the husband. When she goes to kill the husband, the baby starts crying. So she kills the dang baby, y'all.
Yo.
God. And not only that, she kills the baby and then goes to her child's recital afterwards. She wasn't going to the bar. She went to a child's recital afterwards, and that's where the crocodile tears start flowing and flooding. But what she didn't do is she didn't kill the gerbil. Because when we find out the end of the twist,
because
the baby was blind, so she didn't need to kill the baby, and the gerbil was sitting there
alive,
as wide-eyed as anybody.
Here's just for clarity, people. You never need to kill a baby, blind or not.
Nope,
that's where your murderation ends. if you're presented with a situation where a baby is a witness to what you've done, just stop.
Go away.
Just never.
Just walk away. And remember that nobody remembers anything before they're 2.
But also, if they didn't know that the baby was blind, they could have ran the recall device on the baby, though. Right? If they can do a gerbil, they can.
No, they definitely could, and that was her whole point, for sure. Her point was, oh shit, now I know all about this technology, so that guy knows that she was coming to see me, even if he didn't know it was her specifically, right? And shit, now this baby has a memory because this baby just heard something, and now I'm standing in front of it, like.
And
so
I dropped my mask,
certainly
too. She did drop her mask.
Right.
The baby, like.
She definitely dropped her mask.
Yep.
So if you're following the logic of the murderer, then absolutely she killed the baby because she wanted to get away with all of this. And that, I think, is the point. It comes down to you are willing. You've now killed 4 people.
Yep.
I won't give her the first murder. I won't give her that one. She did get away with it.
Okay, so then three and a baby. 3 and a baby.
So then 3. So at this point, you killed 3 people to get away with something that happened 15 years ago that you didn't actually do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've now, in order to keep your life the way it is, you and your career, your husband, your kid, everything is great for you, or as great as you want, whatever. It's worth killing 3 people, grown adults with their own lives. It's worth that. And then you're faced with a baby, and you say, fuck it, I got to go in. Like,
bruh.
The level
then you got the nerve to fucking cry about it, WP. That's what got me when I realized what the title of the episode
of purpose from running from accountability. I have never, that was such a key theme of me being raised was, I don't care how you tell me the truth, you will do it. Write it in a letter, use your words, use a picture. You are going to be accountable for the things that you did. So I don't ever, like we talked about, there's never a moment where I'm like, I stole $100,000 and I'm positive I'm going to get away with it. Like, I don't even go to the thought of doing that because I know I'm not going to make it out of that. You know what I mean? I know I won't make it out of that one unscathed. So it's not even an issue. I'm not going to ever even start it. This was like, there are no repercussions for me as long as these people can't speak. The idea of killing other people so that you get to live your life the way you want to. It's not even that you're a psychopathic murderer. You are trying to conceal and hold on to so dearly the privileged life that you're living is the phenomenal overarching thing for me. Like, it's just the conversation that you have with people, Castro, specifically about white privilege, and white people say, I'm poor, or I grew up poor, or I grew up and black people made fun of me. Like, I got bullied. I can't be privileged. Sam, your entire life is a whole different life than any of us have ever lived. And the idea that you think that any of us would have the thought of killing people in order to be able to go to work on Monday or, be able to make it to your kid's recital. Like,
real quick privilege rubric. When a cop pulls you over, you think you're about to have a conversation. We think, oh, maybe they might kill us. That's two different sides of a spectrum. That's one end of one rainbow, and that's the other end of the other. That's where we're gulfed away. When I see a flashing light behind me, and my heart rate increases, my pulse starts to race.
The level of panic that goes through my body when I see the lights before I even hear a siren behind me, just the flashing lights behind you. I don't know.
It's a trigger. We have PTSD. It's a trigger.
I don't know that that's something
nationwide.
that happens to white people.
There's no way, because they can talk to police officers. I'm being serious. They can have a conversation with police officers that's totally different than what's coming up with us. We're going through checks and balances in our heads about how not to die. Literally.
Yes.
That's what's going on. When we get pulled over, I'm
Do
going
not
to check
move
the balances and
your hand.
remember what my mother
Yes.
told me, how not to die. And that's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little crash course for people.
You're trying to get out of a ticket. We're trying to make it home.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
And so what ends up happening is this girl here, that's why, to me, if that's why they called it Crocodile, for crocodile tears, I'm with it. It's like you want to cry now after you done killed a baby. You want to cry now at the end of the episode for this life you've been trying to preserve. Right. And also what I think this episode did a real good job is, look, did you see her house? Oh, my God. Like, everything was so plush, and it was all, wow. You know what I'm saying? You see all the way through with the floor-to-ceiling windows and stuff like that. So they were definitely painting this upper echelon living of Homegirl and how it could possibly come crashing down if this secret got out. But we don't really even know if it could have. We were just given that premise with her action.
The possibility was enough for her. The very possibility was enough for her. Yeah.
Now,
which
I like,
really,
what I would point out,
which really for me ties it all the way back to the very first, accident. Like, as much as it was the other person driving, understand that you're just as guilty. I don't care what you've been telling yourself all these years. You
At some
are
point,
much
you carried the bike.
Right.
At some point, you put a rock in.
Presented with the opportunity, you are much more of the murderer than he ever would be. Period.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. When it came to the reality, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
When it came down to the nuts and bolts of it, you turned into way more of a murderer than he was initially.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. And we're not just talking a number of bodies. We're talking of motivation.
No, just just an instinct for her. Her instinct was to get rid of something that could take her down. And so it went from, how can we do this? We can't. No, absolutely not. And I'm not willing to say that particular incident was the thing that made her cold-blooded. I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think she was cold-blooded. I honestly believe, in the average sense, she is cold-blooded because you have to be to fucking kill a baby to save yourself. But,
the murder right before, the cracking him over the head and letting him drown in the bathtub, and he was just taking a leisurely bath watching his kid. Come on, that's pretty cold to me. That was really her crossing. I know you agree with that.
Yeah, I was trying to walk it back in the way that this isn't somebody who likes to kill for the kill or likes to kill for torture or that's what I mean. But it is very cold-blooded. It's calculated, all of it. Like, some of them weren't, like the first one was when she killed her former partner. It definitely wasn't like he's about to come here and I'm going to find a way to kill him. That wasn't a calculated deal. But the rest of it, like, you watched her try and dance and manipulate with the insurance adjuster. Can I just go have a pee? And, do you want some tea? I'll make you a espresso. And, she's burning all this time trying to stay away from her. And she's all the while looking at shit. We keep her, see the knives. Okay, so those are there. And, like, she knows now. I'm killing this bitch because I'm not dealing with this. You're not about to take my life away from me. So I don't have anything to do with your accident. What I can tell you is that thing definitely hit that man. Keep that and move forward. And she couldn't, like you said, they're all interwoven. She couldn't do it.
Remember when she was walking behind her like, I just have crazy thoughts sometimes, and she was trying to explain all that she knows she saw.
For a moment, I think that she probably thought, I can rationalize this. I think logically for her it was like, if I just explain it really quick, she'll get it. Like, she'll know. And then she abandoned that real quick when she realized, I'm all the way the fuck out my house in my socks. It's freezing cold and I'm on rocks right now. Like, now you're no longer trying to plead your case. You're trying to make sure that you have an end to that woman's car.
Yeah, so I didn't think she was trying to plead her case. I thought she was testing the waters the whole time. That's what I thought she was doing. I thought she was reading the woman's reaction. I think she was reading her reactions from the inside and then outside still doing it the whole time, like, okay. No matter what I say, you were scared. You saw what you saw. Oh, okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I definitely
I thought she was a little more
I don't think
panicked
she was trying to
that.
convince her.
She was,
I
but
think
she
was
was
a little
acting
more
a little more
panicked
panicky.
than that.
She was
She
very
seemed
jittery
like
as soon as she saw
she
the
seemed like,
images.
oh no. Like if I can get you to understand that this, sometimes I'm weird, you know, and then
Yeah. Oh,
I
both
think
of them.
she
Both
noticed.
of them at that point. Yes. Yeah.
I think she
but
noticed.
That's why I was saying homegirl could have had a still face because at first when she closed her eyes and opened it more,
her whole
demeanor
was.
That's it. She said that's it.
Her whole demeanor was fucking done. She was terrified, and she had to get out of there. She gave it up.
She's never saw anything of that level because she would have reacted totally different if she had experience seeing weirdo things. She was like, okay, let's go back to the pizza thing.
No, because she's used to seeing people's secrets in the way of, like, sexual proclivities and shit, like you cheated on your wife or something like that, or, like, the dentist who's looking at the dude. Like, she's used to seeing that kind of shit, so that discretion is no problem. That doesn't have anything to do with anything.
She's never seen a
murder
on this
fucking
thing.
deal.
Yeah, right, but she tried to lie
never
about
seen one.
Yeah,
she's never seen it. She was like, I've seen worse. And she's like, nah, you lying.
Right.
Definitely.
You ain't seen worse, and I've never said anything. And then that's why I brought up that it harkened back that she made that slight reference to if she sees something about somebody harming somebody or bringing harm to themselves, she is obligated to say something. She said that with the first girl witness, but she was lying when she was trying to save her life with homegirl at the end.
Absolutely. She turned into a, begging and pleading, and I won't tell anyone, and I'll pretend, and I'll find a way to manipulate I'll find a way to not have this memory, like it was like, anything.
So we're about to get to the rewatchability and if you would recommend this. So the episode ends with her crocodile tearing her face off at her child's recital, which she barely makes it to, which happens to be a very strange recital because they're redoing some Bugsy Malone, like an old gangster thing. If you look at the kids, really quickly. It's like some Bugsy Malone, criminal Tommy gun shit. And she's bawling her eyes out, and the cops are slowly rolling into the back because they use the gerbil to find out who she is, and she gets her just desserts. WP goes down. So, this also is an episode that I want to say where the tech is kind of inconsequential. It's not the hinge. It's not the fulcrum of the episode, the tech. It's kind of our vehicle. Because Homegirl's off the chain. And it's not because they have recall machines in that universe. Or maybe it is. Maybe she thinks she has to clean up that way.
I think it's definitely part of it.
Okay.
Like, she got rid of old boy. She got rid of old boy before knowing about the recaller machine, right? Like, she got rid of him knowing you're going to get us fucked up. However, as soon as she knew about that technology was the reason she killed everybody else. So the tech matters hugely because it's going through all of these different people's memories, and it all leads to her and gets all of it ends up pointing for the insurance agent to find her in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Right, that is true.
So the technology is big in this one. I think it definitely matters. She killed the baby thinking they will know it was me.
Yes, and I totally missed
not realizing that there was even a gerbil in the room, likely, or thinking that a pet would be scanned. I don't know if I don't think she saw the gerbil. I think if she saw the gerbil, she would have killed the gerbil. I don't think that I certainly think that. I don't think she knew there was a pet in the house.
But think about focus of intent. Are you really looking for a gerbil when you have to kill a baby?
No,
she probably didn't see anything
but if you're looking, she's not giving a fuck who she or what she kills. It's all witnessing. How do I
get that, but what I'm saying is because she has to bring herself to the horrors of killing a baby, she probably totally just missed the gerbil that was right next to her while she was killing. You get what I'm saying? Like, she missed that detail.
Because that's an easy kill.
I just don't think that she looked at it as the horrors of killing a baby.
Okay. What were you saying?
I'd say because the gerbil's an easy kill. You didn't kill a baby. Gerbil's nothing.
Definitely. All right, so would y'all recommend this episode for people to watch?
Hell yeah. Yeah, definitely.
More.
Absolutely. This is another, you summed it up perfectly with giving it the second name of the episode. I think this speaks to a lot of things and differences that we have today. And these mindsets are not something that most people of color can understand. And I think that matters. And I think that this is a good way to explain what privilege looks like, even for people, you know, who are not in their mind ever thinking of one scenario that would make them kill multiple people, right? But that it has to resonate. They've definitely covered something up and gone to certain extremes to do it, right? And no matter how big or small that thing was, where's your threshold? And this showed us that there are people that have a threshold of fucking no threshold. I'll kill a baby so that I don't get caught doing what I'm doing.
I will say this is another suggestion for murderers out there, as if y'all need any suggestions. When you want to commit a crime, you do it by your damn self and you don't tell nobody. And no recall machine can come find you to do any damn thing. The first thing was they committed a crime together when they were so in love being hippies in the beginning of the episode. Led her to committing a whole bunch of crimes by herself, but not knowing that she wasn't by herself. Why? Because the gerbil man was there. Signed, sealed, delivered. I think this is a great episode to watch people get their comeuppance and watch WPs go down. Next episode. I got it. Because I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I did not expect this review to go this way. You gotta edit this out. I didn't expect us to get into WP, into white privilege, or talking about the racial implications of the episode, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Agreed. Because my biggest overarching tone was accountability and not taking responsibility for things. That's what my thing was, and I wasn't necessarily directly correlating it to that. It was just more that there are people that are able to never say I did that, or are able to not have to face up to something or apologize, or whatever the situation is that makes them be accountable. There are people that are able to hide from that for like multiple years, and I think that makes you a weaker person in the end. You know, like it is so much harder to stand up and be accountable and say, yes, I lied to you and this is the result and I'm fucked up for it. Or, you know, yeah, I fucked up at work and I made this huge mistake and it cost the company this much money. Like, whatever it is, you have to be able to understand that something you did, there's a direct correlation and a result. And that matters how you move going forward. If you know there's no consequences in your life, and I don't mean this in the great way of, you know, jump out without a net and you can do anything you want to. Like, think of that on the extreme opposite end of, if you never have someone holding you accountable, you are murdering people to be able to continue to not be accountable. And that's fucking wild to me.
All right, so that was the first 3 episodes of this wonderful season of Black Mirror. We're gonna pause for dramatic effect here. Listeners, we will have another episode subsequently following this. They'll probably be both available to stream simultaneously, but we're going to go to part 2, where we will get into episode 4, 5, and 6. That is Hang the DJ, Metalhead, and Black Museum. And then we'll rank all the episodes from 1 to 6, and just, you know, we'll give our own ranking. We are a podcast has no name, and because we have no name, we can do whatever the hell we want. So we will continue on with this Black Mirror expose. And also stay tuned for our regular Game of Thrones stuff. We still got the Game of Thrones big rewatch. So stay tuned for that. I hope you're still listening as we dive in to seasons 2, 3, and 4, and 5. And that's all I got. Anybody want to?
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Follow, like, share, subscribe, all the things.
Yeah, we don't say that enough. Yeah, follow, like, share,
we definitely
subscribe,
don't.
all the things. And that shows you that Morgan has other podcasts that's way more successful than this one. All right, good night.